You know that feeling when you finally decide to upgrade from a cheap, plastic keyboard and end up with a unit that sounds thin, feels cheap, and just sits there gathering dust? I've been there, and that disappointment is what makes me pause every time a new digital console piano pops up on the market. The question I always ask myself is, does the next model actually solve those regrets, or am I just swapping one set of compromises for another? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. With the Casio Celviano APS450, the promise is a blend of authentic grand piano sound, a realistic hammer action feel, and a sleek console design that's supposed to fit into any living room without looking like a studio beast. Let's dig into whether that promise holds up when you actually plug it in and start playing. First off, the biggest hesitation people have with a console-style digital piano is whether the built-in speakers can really fill a room, or if you'll still need a separate amp or headphones to get decent volume. The APS450 comes with a 40-watt, 4-speaker system that Casio markets as Immersive. In real-world use, that means you can comfortably practice in a medium-sized bedroom or a small living area without cranking the volume to a point where the speakers start to distort. I tested it by running through a full-scale Chopin Nocturne and a couple of pop ballads back-to-back. The bass response was surprisingly full for a console unit, and the higher registers stayed clear, which is something cheaper keyboards often sacrifice to keep costs down. If you're looking for a piano that can double as a small room entertainment hub, think karaoke night with friends or a family sing-along, the speaker setup actually delivers a respectable listening experience. The hammer action mechanism is another make-you-break factor. Casio's smart hybrid hammer action blends weighted keys with a sensor-driven response that's supposed to emulate the feel of an acoustic grand piano, but with a lighter, more responsive touch for fast passages. I played a fast arpeggio from Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata and felt a gradual increase in resistance that mimics the way a real piano's strings would behave as you press harder. It's not an exact replica of a full-size concert grand, but it's a noticeable step up from the springy feel of entry-level keyboards. For beginner to intermediate players who want a realistic feel without the maintenance of an acoustic instrument, that hybrid action is a genuine selling point. However, seasoned pianists who are accustomed to the nuanced weight distribution of a Steinway or a Yamaha CFX might notice a subtle lack of depth in the lower octaves. The action is well engineered for most home settings, but it isn't designed to replace a high-end acoustic for concert-level performance. One of the quieter strengths of the APS450 is its tone library. It offers 26 built-in sounds, ranging from classic grand pianos to electric pianos, organs, and a few synth-type patches. The concert grand voice is the one most users gravitate toward, and it lives up to the authentic concert grand sound badge by delivering a warm, resonant timbre that holds up when layered with sustain pedal. In practice, the organ and electric piano sounds are decent for genre-bending practice sessions, but they're not the primary reason to buy this model. The real value comes from the piano tones themselves, especially when you pair them with the built-in speakers. If you're a composer who likes to experiment with different textures, the extra voices give you a bit of flexibility without needing a separate workstation. Bluetooth connectivity is a feature that's become almost expected in modern digital pianos, and the APS450 doesn't disappoint. You can stream backing tracks from your phone or tablet directly to the piano's speaker system, which is a huge convenience for jam sessions or for practicing with a metronome and play-along tracks simultaneously. The pairing process is straightforward. Press the Bluetooth button, select Casio APS450 on your device, and you're good to go. One minor downside is the lack of a dedicated Bluetooth MIDI channel for sending or receiving MIDI data. That means if you want to record your performance into a DAW or use a virtual instrument library, you'll need a USB to MIDI adapter or an external interface. For most casual players, that isn't a deal-breaker, but if you're looking to integrate the piano into a home studio workflow, you'll need that extra gear. Design-wise, the console's rosewood finished cabinet gives it a sophisticated look that blends well with both modern and traditional decor. The visual layout is clean, with touch-sensitive controls that replace the clutter of buttons you'd find on older models. This modern aesthetic is a plus for anyone who wants the piano to be a centerpiece rather than an eyesore. The compact footprint also means it can fit into apartments where space is at a premium. On the flip side, The sleek touch controls can sometimes be a little too sensitive, especially if you have kids around who might inadvertently change settings while exploring the surface. It's not a huge problem, but it's something to be aware of if you need a more lockdown environment for consistent practice.